Today's speaker is a diver. Most of us know him as a diver, somebody who teaches at the university, dive in the ocean, and a guardian of the marine environment. Today's speaker is Professor Terney Pradeep. He's a product of Rahula College, Mathura. And being a coastal boy, I think he fell in love in oceans and the ocean around him when he was a kid. And then he did his undergraduate studies at the University of Ruhuna and did a PhD, a Swedish PhD from University of Kalmar on coral ecology. And then he was the former department head of the Department of Oceanography and Marine Geology, and later over the past year, I think he was in the limelight, in the hot seat, because he was the general manager of Marine Environment Protection Agency for a while, and then the Express Pearl incident had broke off, and we saw him every day, basically, try to do what he could. And for the best for the country, and then now he's a professor, and a very young-looking professor, I think, and a nice speaker, an authority in marine oceanography and marine ecology, a person who's not afraid to dive deep into the issues and vocal about it. So it's a I think, well-rounded, complete academic, and I got to know him first in the Adams Bridge, Rama's Bridge area, where he was doing some dives and fisheries related work there, while I was doing the seabird related work. So, and we were friends for a while with the Pork Bay related matters, Indian side and Sri Lankan side. And I think, so when I invite him, he was very happy to appear in our seminar series. So Terney is a nice gentleman, very humble person, friendly person. I think those who know him knows him as a good friend. So with that, Terney, I will invite you to deliver the seminar for this edition. And we will have the seminar, and then at the end there will be about half an hour or 20 minutes worth of time available for questions. So the audience, feel free to ask questions. You can use the chat box and we can relay those questions to him, or you can ask directly during the question and answer session. Terney, thank you very much again for accepting our invitation. I know you are traveling, you are in somewhere on the road, and so yes, floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Sampath, and thank you, audience, and for inviting me. Yes, first I must thank Sampath for his frank compliments. Actually, I'm on the way to the field. Now I am talking to you from Ambalangoda. Fortunately, I got a place from one of my friends. He's my batchmate, and he has a hotel. So he offered me this room to do this work. And I must congratulate Lahiru for his new appointment. Lahiru, as a Sri Lankan, we are very much happy. And yes, the lecture series organized by Minister of Nerds. I'm really happy and feel privileged to be invited as the first speaker for the year. And yes, we are not such nerdy, but we need nerd people also, because they think differently. So for this country, we need people. They always think, should think out of the box and always look for some way outs, because in most of the times we go somewhere and stuck, and without finding problems, we keep on querying and giving excuses. But yes, we need people who are always willing to go out and find some ways out. And yeah, finally, I saw my oceanography teacher, Professor Kumara, is also on the panel today listening to me. Thank you, madam, for joining me. And again, Amarka from my university. Yes, today my topic is I give the topic as Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka's future prospects in a blind eye. So we will see what is Indian Ocean first, and then what sort of prospects we are having, and the issues, and why we have gone blind when regard to exploitation, exploration, and the use of these resources in proper manner. So if I start from here, this is our planet, and from compared to northern and southern hemispheres, southern hemisphere is more highly covered with ocean surfaces, and very much active with ocean currents crossing across oceans, and again going around some continents, for example, Antarctic continents. I will come to that bit later. So normally the Southern Ocean is the most, Southern Hemisphere is most active when regarding to ocean currents, ocean activities, but Northern Hemisphere is more almost covered with ocean, the land masses, continents. Therefore, ocean currents are not so active compared to Southern Ocean, Southern continents. So if you think about ocean very briefly, is the largest the ecosystem I mentioned, and again it contains about 71% of Earth's surface. It covers, and it contains about 97% of planet's water. The rest 3% is mainly 1% is almost in frozen form in glaciers and polar ice, and again almost 1% is in soil water contents. What we use and what we see in land as fresh water is still less than 1%. So you can understand the, when we think about if we think that we are having a huge amount of fresh water, we can compare that. It's not huge, it's very less amount of water we are still using, but still the available water, most of the available fresh water is polluted. Therefore, again, it become bit unaccessible or unusable. So those are the issues we are facing. From planet's biosphere, about 90%, 95% of animals from count, they live in the ocean, and still is well known that we don't know about the ocean, because we know about Mars and Moon than ocean, right? Therefore, our knowledge about ocean is very less, and it divides people, being sitting in between countries and continents. At the same time, it connects people. That's one of the beauties of the ocean. It divides and connects. So these are the 5 oceans from different angles. This is the southern Antarctic continent, and this is Africa, India, Australia. So we have Indian Basin, Indian Ocean, the 5 largest the 5 oceans in the country. This is Atlantic Ocean, Southern Atlantic and Northern Atlantic, and we have Southern Ocean, Antarctic Ocean around Antarctic continent, and we have Pacific, the largest ocean, Pacific Basin, and we have Arctic Ocean on around the Northern Pole, and within Northern Pole is the smallest ocean in our planet. So we have 5 major oceans, but we have lots of regional seas. I will come to that a bit later. So these are the some statistics about their size, and the deepest place is Mariana. It's in Pacific Ocean, and Indian Ocean, the deepest place is Sunda. I will come to that a bit later. So when I compare this ocean, and this is my brief introduction, but I always mentioned you that when I compare oceans with land masses, so here these are Pacific, Atlantic, Indian Ocean in a scale, the depth, and this is the Mariana Trench in the depth scale, right? But this is Mount Everest, again, plus 29,000 feet. This is minus 11,000, 36,000 feet, right? So you can understand that Mariana Trench is deeper than the height of the Everest. So this is the average depth of all the oceans, is the average depth of all the mountains, hills, or whatever on the land above sea level. So you can see that does not cover at least 1/4 of the depth. So even if we push all our sand, soil, land masses into the ocean, we will not at least cover 1/4 of the ocean. Ocean is such a huge environment or ecosystem. So why ocean is important? I am not going to describe everything, but I just listed out here is the largest carbon sink. It's a source of protein through fisheries, fish, and it provides energy. Energy as biomass energy, wind, wave, tide, and again energy from hydrothermal vents on the deep, and again energy from top to bottom. Ocean, ocean surface is very much heated. Ocean flow is almost near zero, so there's a heat gradient. From that heat gradient we can generate some heat, some energy or electricity, so that also is there. So there's another energy source we can extract from the ocean. It's a source of minerals, and again lots of medicines are now derived from the ocean. And again 90% of goods are still transported through ocean means, and still people tend to live closer to the ocean, closer to the water. Even in Sri Lanka, we always tend to live around lakes, rivers, and even in the coastal belt. That's our mindset. And again, it provides huge amount of employment, from shipping to fisheries to tourism. Again, even shipping sector, we never think that research, ship designing, ship archaeology, ship insurance, ship management, right? So all are there. And again, environmentalists working in the ships, cruise management, hospitality. So those are the employment opportunities we can extract from the ocean. And I mentioned that the ocean, Southern Ocean is very much active with ocean currents, and these currents are the main driving force for all the weather and current patterns and wind patterns. Therefore, the planet's weather and wind is completely governed by the ocean, right? Therefore, if ocean stops all the movements, there will not be any winds, right? So everything will come to stand still if something happens to ocean. So in that case, the polar caps will start spreading towards the equator. At the same time, the equator area, there will be high temperature. So then high temperature, drastic drop, and high cold. So that sort of situation will develop if the ocean stop moving, the current stop moving. And again, through data connectivity now recently, so all our mobile data, about 90% of mobile data are run up and down through deep ocean cable. Therefore, ocean is a major importance. Ocean connects people, right? Ocean provides life support for us because we live because of the ocean. And earlier we learned that we get all the oxygen from forests and again from trees. Yes, we are getting oxygen from plants, but at present we know that about 50 to 80%, 85% of oxygen is derived from ocean photosynthesis. Especially, I mentioned that 71% of ocean is covered with planet is covered with the ocean, and first 100 meters is very much populated with planktons. So they are the very active, highly contributing ocean producers. Therefore, we receive oxygen from the ocean. So that is our life, our lifeline kind of. Therefore, we are depending on the ocean. And on the other hand, ocean absorb carbon dioxide. That's why it's the largest. We consider it is the largest carbon sink. It absorbs about 30% of carbon dioxide we emit to the atmosphere. So that counts to about 2 billion metric tons per year. So therefore, ocean provides us a livable place, a habitable place. Therefore, ocean is our life, right? We are always connected to ocean. So without ocean, we cannot survive. Therefore, our life is ocean. That is how we have to treat the ocean. That's how we do treat and consider and start, touching the ocean first. Then I move to Indian Ocean, right? The main target area. So Indian Ocean is the third largest of 5 oceans. You know that is bounded from the west by Africa, Eastern African region, and north we have Asia, Indian subcontinent, and again east we have Australia and Australian lands, and southern we have Southern Sea. That is a boundary. So in southern boundary, there's no natural boundary for the Indian Ocean, but lying about 4,200 kilometers long, connecting Cape Agulhas. Agulhas is the most southern point of Africa, right? And with that connects across Indian Ocean towards the Australian side. And again, from Durban to down, it go. If we draw a vertical line, so that line, separate Indian Ocean from Atlantic Ocean. So if I show it like this, so this is the margin between Atlantic and Indian, but this is the margin between Indian and Southern or Antarctic Ocean, right? But from northern side, we have land masses and again regional seas. But this is early definition about Indian Ocean in 1950s, right? So in northern region, we had a margin because these are regional seas. If you can see my cursor, this is Bay of Bengal regional sea. Here you can find Lakshadweep Sea. This is Arabian Sea. Those three regional seas. So these three regional seas were the northward boundary of Indian Ocean when it was first defined in 1953 by International Hydrographic Organization. But later they redefined that, and from that they pushed the Indian Ocean definition further up. Then they set this line as they took those three regional seas into the Indian Ocean. Then the Indian Ocean boundary was this landmass boundary here. And from southern point, the southern boundaries, Antarctic Ocean, Antarctic Peninsula. Then it moved up to 30 degrees south contour here, right? So then it moved up, but it has, for this new definition came in 2000. Australia have some issues with Australia, but otherwise this is our new Indian Ocean definition. It bound from northern to Asian subcontinents and Indian subcontinents here, but from north, but south is 60 degree latitude, right? So below that, this is Antarctic Ocean, the most southern ocean. So this Indian Ocean definition. So it covers about 70.5 million square kilometers, and Indian Ocean contains about 19.8% of Earth's surface, right? An average depth is about 3,700. The deepest place we discussed is a Sunda Trench, is in the eastern boundary of the Indian Ocean, right? The Sunda Trench is the deepest point in the Indian Ocean. So this is Sunda Trench here because it is located at the eastward side of the Java Trench, right? We have Indo-Asian plate here, right? This is a plate boundary here. So this is the place we can find Java Trench, or the same is a synonym Java Trench or Sunda Trench. We can use the both. So depth of the Sunda Trench is about 7,290 meters, right? On the other hand, on average, Indian Ocean is the warmest of all oceans that are present on planet Earth, on average, right? It's the warmest ocean. So in the Indian Ocean, we can find some, regional seas and other main water tributaries, right? For example, starting from Bay of Bengal, right? And we have Andaman Sea because Andaman Islands are here. Then Strait of Malacca, because this is Indonesia, this is Thailand, and along that the Strait of Malacca, and it connects to Pacific Ocean here. And we have Great Australian Bight, this kind of a bay kind of thing. If you go to western side, you can find Arabian Sea, then Gulf of Oman. This is Persian Gulf, this area, those are regional seas. And we have Red Seas that connects to Mediterranean to the Suez Canal. This Gulf of Eden, and this part is called Horn of Africa, right? It's a well-known place where, Djibouti, those harbors are located. This Mozambique Channel, right? These are major regional seas located within Indian Ocean. And this is Indian Ocean, how appears if there's no water, right? So this is Indian subcontinent and Sri Lanka. This is real ocean flow, right? And we have Sumatra Islands, then Java or Sumatra Trench here. These are Maldives, like, peaks or steep columns. And this is Lakshadweep Islands, those are Indian islands. These are Andaman Islands coming. Those are again Indian islands. So again from coast, we know in our country, our country's jurisdiction does not stop at our coastal belt, or we call it as, in technically we call it as a baseline, or our shoreline. It extends further away from the coast, right? Normally, our jurisdiction extends from the coastline towards ocean. That's about 200 nautical miles. We know, we call the whole area as our exclusive economic zone. So in exclusive economic zone, Ananya Arthika Kalape, right? But again, from baseline or coastal line or low water line, 12 nautical miles are defined as territorial waters. So that is normally we call as Swadeshiya Jalatire, Ape Jala, right? So whatever the rules, regulations, acts apply within Sri Lanka, again can be applied in the ocean up to 12 nautical miles. All the laws extend up to 12 nautical miles. Nobody can't tell that our jurisdiction end up in the coastal belt. Therefore, what is happening beyond coastal belt is not ours. I am saying this especially in Colombo case, Colombo municipality. They always tell that Colombo municipality jurisdiction end up in PVL. PVL means permanent vegetation line in the coast. Beyond that, that is not theirs. That's their claim. Therefore, they are not collecting beach waste, right? But on global theory, in law of the sea, their jurisdiction extend until further 12 nautical miles into the sea. Therefore, they cannot claim that. It's a wrong claim, right? I just want to tell you that. Then beyond that, we have contiguous zone, Yabada Kalape. Then we have exclusive economic zone. So real exclusive economic zone is from 12 nautical mile to 200. Therefore, the width of the exclusive economic zone is 188 nautical miles. Rest is territorial water. This is again this part is also, right? So if I detail this diagram again a bit, this is again land, this is sea low water margin, 12 nautical miles, right? Up to this point, territorial waters, but up to this point, Sri Lanka, or our country, have the jurisdiction or the right to exploit or use airspace. Therefore, we call it our national airspace, and sea space here, sea water, sea bottom, and sub bottom. This is ours. But soon as you cross this line like this, 12 nautical miles you cross, so we lose our airspace after 12 nautical miles. So airspace become international airspace, right? But still we have the right or authority or the ownership of the ocean. Therefore, in up to 200 nautical miles, this 188 stretch, the whole water resources, fish resources on the bottom and sub bottom are ours, right? So, but in EEZ, the airspace is not ours, right? But when you cross again 200 nautical mile margin, then the high seas or international seas. So this part is belong to whole humankind, mankind. So this part is governed by one authority established through UN, that is UNCLOS, that is called International Seabed Authority. So they do research and they extract resources, and they sell them to some industries, and they take the profit and submit those profit to the UN system, right? But still we can do research, we can do some fishing in some cases, right? So therefore this is again become international. And rest, here you can see the same. So in continental shelf margin, each country has sovereign rights to exploit non-living resources of seabed, subsoil, plus sedentary species, even living resources, right? In exclusive economic zone, we have sovereign rights for exploit, conserve, manage, non-living resources in the water, seabed, and subsoil. So in this area, so whole resource use, management, conservation, everything become a responsibility of the state or state government, right? In this area. Therefore, fisheries control, environmental control, establishment of marine protected area, all should be done by us, but we should not allow others to do some fishing because these are our resources, right? But in this area, the sea floor, this is claimable, right? So if I go back here, this part is claimable, right? Like this is a claimable area. So we can claim, but for the moment we don't have this part, but we can claim in the future. But this the claim is now on the way, or is being heard at UN. We have put the claim. So to claim, there are 4 scenarios we can use. First one is that to claim the resources in the ocean floor, right? In that case, we don't have the power to take the ownership of seawater or resources here, or in the airspace, we cannot do. But we can claim on the ocean floor under 4 scenarios. Those are, first one is 60 nautical miles from the foot of the continental slope. So this is the foot of the continental slope. From here, you can claim 60 nautical miles sea bottom, right? Or else we can go to the second scenario at a location where the thickness of sediment is at least 1%. For example, here the sediment thickness is 100%. Then you can check where it goes to 1 meter, 100 meter. Then thickness, for example, suppose here the thickness of the sediment is 100 meters. Then you can check where it goes to 1 meter. That's 1%. So up to that point, you can claim sea bottom. Second scenario. Third one, from the baseline, you can go for 350 nautical miles. Or you can go for 100 nautical from 2,500 meters isobar, 2,500 meters depth. We take the depth. From there, you can claim 100 nautical miles towards seaside. So out of these 4, maximum, definite the line you can claim. But in Sri Lankan case, we have selected the second one, the sediment thickness scenario. Therefore, these are the 4 the scenarios, but I will explain how we have done with 1% scenario a bit later. So, being an island nation, being on the northern Indian Ocean, we used to talk about Sri Lanka as a pearl of the Indian Ocean, right? Teardrop of the India. Lots of slogans and those were there. But still, because of that, we always talk about that pearl. We forgot about the rest of our surrounding, because we forgot that our country boundary or country margin is beyond into the ocean. We totally forgot that. For example, if somebody comes to your house home and asks, what is your land, what's your garden, what's the extent, you will never say that you will never show your house. You will always go for your garden boundary, whatever. But in this case also, this is not our jurisdiction boundary. It goes beyond. But since from history, we were a self-sufficient nation, we didn't have any chance to go out, think out, because in history, why people went into the sea was there was a competition, wars for new resources, new settlements. But in our case, we had resources, therefore no need to go out. Therefore, Sri Lanka, we always tend to think into the country. That is why we drew our country. We had this the mindset of teardrop as our country, but it should change into this now, because this is our country margin, right? This is a boundary of our country. Therefore, if you think about Sri Lanka, this is Sri Lankan boundary, and this is Sri Lankan land. This is Sea of Sri Lanka, right? We have to think in that. We have to change our mindset. Even we are late, but even now it's not late to change our mindset as Sea of Sri Lanka, because this is ours, right? Then we have to have a plan, like how we use our land resources. We have to have plans how to use these ocean resources in more sustainable, more efficient way, while keeping a huge, chunk for our future generations. So that is the surface. Now I am going to deep, right? This is our country located in the Indian Ocean, and it rests at a big platform from the real ocean floor. So this is our coastal belt, coastal margin, low water line. But this, then the slow steepness, then at some point it breaks very sharp into the deeper canyons. These are canyons, right? These are canyons. And this small strip, shallow means about 100, 200 meters depth. This part is called continental shelf. In our grade 19, I was taught about continental shelf, Mahadipika Tadake. I didn't get any. It was like Greek. Now this is for you to understand. This is our continental shelf. So this line is called continental break. After the break, it steep into real ocean flow, right? So from the water surface to real ocean flow, the average depth in the Indian Ocean is about 3,500 meters. At harbor mouth, if you're coming from Wakare side or Sampur side, or if not, if you go to Swamirap or Koneshwaram, within 1 kilometer time, the depth goes to 800 to 1,000 meters. Can you believe, right? In Trincomalee. But all the rock face, the canyon faces are rocky, right? So that's Trincomalee and Mirissa. And again, look at Kalpiti, the same scenario. Within very short distance, the continent break. So that is why we can find lots of whales there, because whale get this diveable depth in very short distance. That's why we get lots of whales. Whale watching is very prominent or very active in this area. So if you look at here, now this is our country, this hill country, Sampat, and this is Bay of Bengal. This is this part we call as a Pork Strait, and we have Pork Bay here, and this is Adams Beach or sand dunes. Then we have Gulf of Mannar. This is how it connects: Gulf of Mannar, Adams Beach, Pork Bay, Pork Strait, and then it connects to Bay of Bengal. So you might remember there was a very big issue about putting up new canal here, the Setu Samudra. So you can understand the gravity of the Setu Samudra if they did that, right? That will definitely detach Sri Lanka from India permanently through this through this rocky area, and that will slowly erode whole Sri Lanka into a deeper ocean. So that threat was there. Unfortunately, it stopped now. And this is here, but you can see from here, from coastal belt, we have enough space here. That's why we went to 200 nautical miles. But in this case, in between Sri Lanka and India, we went through iso distance, same distance. So these lines are connected, but from distance from this line to India and from here to KK's Kankan Supuri, the same iso distant line. There is our IMBL in Indo-Sri Lanka maritime boundary, right? Is less than about from here 10-20 kilometers, very narrow. But in this case, we have a very lengthy EEZ and territorial waters. These are our claim, the 1% claim. So our scientists through Minister of Foreign Affairs and some geologists, they did a survey. They went across this with zigzag pattern along this area and found where we can find 1% sediment thickness, and we made a claim here. So we made this claim to UN, and you can see the claimed area from Sri Lanka. So if we got this, in case in the future, if we got this claim, we will get definitely an area underwater, sea bottom, that's about 23 times larger than the land mass. So why we concerned about that? Because all gas, oil, and all mineral deposits are there. That is why we are fighting for that. But thinking this way, so look at this, because we always claim that these sediments are ours, because we think that these sediments are from rivers, because all the marine sediments coming through rivers. river erosion. But here, this is a ridge. Therefore, in Indonesia, they cannot claim that because they know their sediments stop at some point here. There's a ridge, then beyond the ridge, sediment will not pass. Therefore, they cannot claim. They cannot say that this is their sediment. But Maldives has a reservation, right? Maldives. So they have a reservation. They have a claim. So I think definitely we will have to have bilateral discussions with Maldives once we got it. Same time, we had to have some discussions with Bangladesh. But India, for the moment, keeps silent, right? They expect that someday, once we got it, there will be a huge discussions and argument. Very difficult to deal with Indian scientists and politicians. Big argument how to separate. We have to draw the line between India and Sri Lanka. So those issues are there in the Indian Ocean, especially resource-based politics in the future. But still, there are some meetings happening. Our scientists go to New York and submit this, and they are very scientific. It is happening, so we should know these are the resources we are about to receive in the future, right? But therefore, you can understand the amount of resources we are about to have, right? Therefore, declaring Sri Lanka as a shipping hub, tourism hub, aviation hub, fisheries hub, there's no issues there. We have to, right? We can do that. At the same time, from resource-wise also, we have a huge amount of resources around the country. Therefore, we always must understand that Sri Lanka's future is maritime. We have a maritime-based economy. Therefore, we have to think on that way. We have to plan on that way. If you put Sri Lanka in the global agenda, in a high level, we have to understand our potential, and we have to have better plan and start working on that. So look at this global marine assets, right? So normally this is marine assets, ocean assets. Normally we call it discuss in trillions, right? 6.9 trillion for resources, marine fisheries, mangrove, corals, and seagrasses. Shipping lanes, $5.2 trillion. Productive coastlines and carbon absorption, again, 7.8 and 4.3 trillions. Right? But this is more than the country's economy. You can see Norway, the economy is about 893 billion. Abu Dhabi, 773 billion. US, 757 billion. Saudi Arabia. China, 653 billion. But ocean economy is about 24 trillion US dollars. Huge economies there, right? Therefore, ocean is always a significant factor, determining factor, right? And next one, our location, where are we located? Look at our location. We are in the center of, because Indian Ocean is, if India was not here, we are at the very center of the Indian Ocean, right? So we have a very nice air connectivity, right? Within half an hour time, within 1 hour time, we can reach India, Asia, again, Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa, right? And even down South Pacific Islands, Australia, 3-4 hours time, very good connectivity. And further down, lots of Indian Ocean islands, right? For example, further down, we have Mauritius, Seychelles, Madagascar, right? And from east of Sri Lanka, Nicobar, Andaman, and just above, away towards western side, Lakshadweep Island, Indian Islands, Maldives, Cook's Island here, and some French islands, right? So very big connect. We have high potential for air connectivity if we perform well, right? And again, sea connectivity, right? So east-west route, sea connection route, major route, right? From Gulf of Eden and through Colombo, through Strait of Malacca, and to Pacific, China, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, again Singapore, Philippines, right? And further down, South Africa, right? We are very much centered. And from here, the kind of regional, from here, Calcutta, the Bangladesh region, and again from India, right? Again, Dubai, to this region, kind of regional. But we are very much centered in ocean or maritime connectivity. and the former Silk Road. So we were a great member of the former Silk Road, right? Silk Road means we connected Sri Lanka was connected to Silk Road from east to Sri Lanka, center to Persian Gulf, South Asia, right? Eastern Africa, those regions. That is previous one. But later, the new version is that OBOR, One Belt, One Road Initiative, right? Latest version. In this case, Sri Lanka is connected to other region, to maritime route, through we are not connected to the land route, pipe, oil piping, and again railway routes. It has 4 components, but in this case, through one OBOR, Sri Lanka is connected mainly through maritime route. So we are very much centered, right? So this Belt and Road Initiative, this was initiated in 2013, that connects 70 countries, right? Because that connectivity, it matters. I will show you the importance of connectivity, right? So a bit later. So this is how Sri Lanka is, contributing to the OBOR, One Belt, One Road Initiative, right? And not only that, the cable connectivity, underwater cable, right? Submarine cable connectivity to Sri Lanka. So again, here we are very much centered, right? That is about, some sort of political and economical connectivity. Now, ecological connectivity through ocean currents, right? Those north equatorial currents, right? And south equatorial currents, and here South Indian Gyre, and again this Antarctic circumpolar currents that goes around Antarctic region, right? Continent. That also connects us, and again we are very much exposed to 2 monsoons, right? Wind patterns, right? So these 2 monsoons are 100% governed by the ocean currents. So if something happens to the ocean, our monsoon pattern definitely will be changed. That will definitely affect on aquaculture, agriculture, other crops, right? Tea estates, everything, right? Even fish breeding, everything will be impacted if something happens to our monsoonal system, right? And again, not only that, blue whales, they migrate from northern Indian Ocean to southern Indian Ocean, right? Eastern Indian Ocean to southern Indian Ocean. Again, western Indian Ocean to southern Indian Ocean. But unfortunately, in Sri Lankan case, we always talk about blue whales here, but still we don't have proper idea about how they migrate, whether they are migrating from northern India to southern India, or whether they are migrating from Bay of Bengal, from down south to Arabian Sea, or whether we are having a residential population. No idea, because tagging is not allowed in Sri Lanka for whales. I don't know the rationale behind that, right? And again, bird. So all the birds from for the north, some Siberian region, they come and end up in Sri Lanka. So I know the Manike story, Sampath's story, right? I put it as a good example here how we can contribute, right? So the Manike, it went further up and ended up in Sri Lanka, but from here further down, we have to understand where this bird and others migrate within the Indian Ocean region. Those informations are very much lacking somewhere, right? Therefore, that's why we need some more scientists, even oceanographers who work on the ocean, especially on ocean birds, seabirds. Seabirds is another category, more than me, but we should have some more scientists, some more information about seabirds, right? I put to give some credit to our the Colombo team, and from that side, then how we are prepared. For example, port city, right? This port city, I am not going to color paint port city, but now port city is there. As scientists, as university undergrads or university teachers, so people who has a vision, we should now think how we have to exploit this, our job opportunities, managers, marketers, accountants, right? Maybe scientists, right? Ocean economists, how we can exploit this. It's a huge potential for us to exploit this, right? The port city. But you know, this is Colombo Old Harbor, right? This is Colombo South Harbor expansion. When it happened, nobody shouted. And under this shade, port city developed, right? Port city emerged under this shade. There's a very big breakwater, right? Therefore, that's why I always tell that the impact of port city is a bit less than this one, the major breakwater. But when this was built, nobody shouted for my understanding, right? But this is the South Harbor, the big harbor. When compared to Old Harbor, you can see how big the new harbor, right? And here, the most controversial is ECT, East Container Terminal. Right now, we took this as to SLPA. But this was given to Adani. But this is CICT, China International Container Terminal, completely managed by Chinese. And this is SAGT, South Asia Gateway Terminal. This is JCT, Jaya Container Terminal. This is UCT, Unity Container Terminal. This is Dolphin Jetty, where we unload oil most of the times, right? So if you go back here, this is CICT, and this is CICT. This is South Asia SAGT done. This is almost done, but this has to be completed. It's only there's a breakwater there, and this is this part East Container Terminal. It has a second phase also coming. This one is about to come. It's not there, but the issue is that we have another plan to develop another port, North Port, right? This is the already done port, still under construction. The North Port, a huge port that border Terney estuary here. Look at the proposal, right? The new proposed port is colossal harbor we are going to establish, right? So we have to think how we do it, and when we come to the surface, we have to plan how we take the benefit to the countries. We have to clearly think about that, right? The new coming north is called North Port of Colombo. This is existing. The former small port is large, but still you can see with the new two ports how small this one. And again, Hammantara. This is Hammantara. As far as I remember, this is level 1, 2, 3. This is level 1, right? This level 2 is now almost constructed. They are digging. This Karagan Leva, this nice bird sanctuary. We used to go there with Professor Kumara to do some bird watching and bird counting during at our zoology period. But it's an inland harbor. We dig into the country, but still we are developing harbors, right? And these harbors can accommodate the largest shipping vessels. So in this case, you can see this ever is the largest container ship available on our planet. So this contain about almost 24,000 containers. So once the container size is about 10 by 10 by 20. So if you meet one of these camel containing this container in the road, you know how difficult to bypass it, how large that container is. But think this one ship is carrying 24,000 such containers in one ship, right? Can you think about the amount of cargo they are transporting at the same time, the amount of weight and the size of the ship. And on the other hand, with the technological development, these ships are completely automated. The crew is about less than 10, 20, maximum crew number. Everything is automated, right? Think about that. And the Colombo has another plan to come up with Colombo Maritime City, the new city from Goldface to Vellavat, right? This is the futuristic picture about Colombo Maritime City. Those are the new developments. But at the moment, look at this. So this is Colombo, this is Singapore. So our ships go east and cross Malacca Strait here and go to Singapore and go to east. But now there's a big plan to develop a new, this Strait of Malacca, right? Big canal here is called Kra Canal. If Kra Canal become become a reality one day, ships will go from Colombo and will cross from here and go to east. In that case, Singapore will cut off from the system. But for the moment, the Singapore is one of the largest harbors. If that comes, Hambantota and Colombo we have a very huge potential for shipping as a shipping hub. Therefore, we should be very prepared without giving our harbors or resources to others. We have to have better plans, right? So in that case, Colombo, then Malacca Strait from here to east, and Singapore will be cut off or be cornered in the future. And look at this, the possible, another possibility at Trincomalee Harbour, right? This Trincomalee Harbour, it has 3 bays. This Kodia, this is Kodia Bay Kai, Tambalagam Bay, this inner harbour, right? So that is, if any warship come here, they cannot see the inner harbour. That is why we call this harbour as a very natural, largest, one of the largest natural harbours in the world, actually, right? So inner harbour, Kodia Bay, and Tambalagam Bay. So the Mahali drains here, and this Sampur, this Muttur Sampur area, this area, right? So if I take closer look here, this is inner harbour, right? Those are bays and coves, small bays within inner harbour, this China Bay airport. And this is islands within Trincomalee Harbour: Mangrove, York, Great Sober, Little Sober, Elephant, Marble, and these Norway Islands in this area, right? And again, these are the commercial points, right? This is Tokyo Cement. This Tokyo Cement. This is Code Bay Fishery Harbour. This China Bay Harbour. This Ashraf Jetty, Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Number 5, IOC, Indian Oil Company. So they have their tank farm at here, fuel storage farm here. Number 6, Prima Jetty, Prima mill is here, right? This is a Navy dockyard. This is Fort Frederick. Those are the commercial areas. It's very much important. At the same time, if you dock something, a ship here, nobody will see from the outside, because everything is covered by very hilly area, right? That's why we call this as a natural harbor. Very big potential for future developments. At the same time, this is a China Bay. This China Bay airport runway, right? And again, Trincomalee. So only place you can see the largest animal on the land and largest animal on the sea. Largest mammal on the land, elephant and blue whales, you can see from one single point, one single hilltop. You can see either side. That's the only place in the world is Trincomalee. Again, it's a very huge potential to develop as a tourist hub. So if we take everything into one single clump, we can think about blue economy, right? In blue economy, we think about usage of these resources in a more sustainable way. Ocean for food, ocean for energy, transportation, mineral, water, leisure, health, right? There are lots of definitions for blue economy. Sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and jobs, while preserving the health of ocean ecosystems by World Bank. There are other definitions also. Tourism, beach tourism, cruise ships, yachting, everything. I will not describe it there because my time is now almost 1 hour. I will accelerate some, but I have a lot to tell, right? And these are jobs. 10 million jobs from fishery trade. Nighttime coastal tourism trade, 6 million jobs. In the sea, industrial fish processing, 2 million. Amount of jobs available in the ocean field. But the challenge is, at present we have about 8 billion population on our planet, but in almost 25 years time, there will be 9 billion, 1 more billion, right? How to feed them is the problem, because from the land we have restricted lands, we have expanding human settlements, water issue, right? Again, we are having lots of infrastructure. Therefore, we have lots of restriction for the land. Then the only place we can explore is the ocean floor to feed this extra 1 billion. It means 9+ billion population, mouth to be fed by 2050. That's our challenge, right? If we expand these resources, we can double coastal tourism. We can increase coastal shipping by 4 times. Oil and gas, we can double it. Fisheries, almost we can keep it constant. Offshore wind and energy, we can multiply it by 40%. There's a potential. Aquaculture, 2%, 2 times. Seabed mining, still no information because we don't have such technological inputs with us, right, to go there. Therefore, still we have lots of underutilized resources in the ocean. Lots of untapped fishery resources in the ocean and deep sea waters, right? And these sea mounts are very much, important for energy. At the same time, lots of new species living there, right? These for energy, these are hydrogen sulfide, but superheated water. At the same time, lots of bivalves, crabs, untapped marine resources there around sea mounts and those areas. And for example, this fish, orange rogli, right, still untapped. This sort of deep water basses, sea basses, and this is another fish. And tuna, potential tuna grounds, and where they are migrating, still we have potential. And this is how they feeding waters, spawning grounds, and again, this is long line areas where they are fished, but very close to Sri Lanka, right? So there's the potential for fisheries, and again, potential for renewable energy, oil and gas, we discussed, right? And extract minerals from seawater, ocean surface, ocean bottom, and extract energy from ocean, and again, extract fresh water from the ocean, right? And again, so ocean, deep ocean minerals, polymetallic nodules, manganese, crust, sulfide deposits, right? These are the, in Indian Ocean, these are possible resources for us to explore. On the other hand, in Sri Lanka, we also have lots of huge mineral sands in our coastal belts, right? So what we do is we extract them and export raw, import end products, but we never do value addition. If you do value addition, we can increase the price by 800 times. That is where we have gone wrong, right? Even at least we have to invest now, extract the real minerals from mineral sand or chemicals or whatever compounds and export them. The research is there, investments are there, right? So opportunity resources are there. But while we are, dealing with everything, other countries jump in and mesh up everything, right? Therefore, we have to think in that way, because value addition gives about 800 times price tag, means we can earn billions of dollars to our country, right? Still, you can see with the time, our energy demand is still increasing. Like food, energy demand is never ending. It's always increasing, right? But still, there will be more oil in the ocean. In about 2,300 billion barrels are still there. From gas, is said that we have still found only 20% of gas deposits. 80% is still unfound and be in our planet here somewhere, right? In Sri Lankan case, these are our oil exploration sites and blocks. I will not go into deep areas, right? Some wells, right? Lots of issues are there. But this is what happened to our oil exploration with the time in 2018. We had lots of largest multi-client exploration services with Esteem Eco DMCC to do the seismic done. But still we buy our time to extract our oil, right? We should at least now establish some industries to extract our oil, because now world is going renewable, right? Solar, hydraulic, biofuel, tidal wave, geothermal energy, and wind power. So by the time we come up with our oil, for sure there will be lots of renewable energy at lower cost. Then what will happen to our oil? That will be of no value, right? Now there's always a competition between renewable and non-renewable. But non-renewable is still leading, but slowly renewables are increasing. Therefore, this is now situation. Look at this. At present, coal and oil prices are bit cheaper than renewable, but in the future there will be renewable energy will be cheaper than coal and oil, right? Therefore, people will go to renewables than coal and oil, non-renewable. So if you want to capitalize on our coal and oil resources, we do it now. More we delay it, more we lose. And regional context, through Indian Ocean, we have IORA, we have BIMSTEC, we have COMSI, right? We have ASEAN, we are not there. We were invited, we just rejected. I don't know why, right? We have SARC to get cooperation between countries. This is IORA, right? Indian Ocean Ring Association countries, right? So these are the places we can get support, we can exchange technological know-how, right? We can collaborate, research collaborations, right? Those are the areas we have to, because these are our neighbors, right? First think of neighbor first, right? And think about others. So those are the policies we have to develop, and job opportunities, right? In ocean field, job project manager, $30,000, finance manager, $30,000, right? You can earn in dollars, because country like us, we don't need to earn in rupees. Rupees, down the lane, down the drain, but we have to earn in dollars. So ocean, these jobs are very much lucrative. Become a scientist or engineer or ship designer, ship architect, ship ocean maritime lawyer, right? Those are the areas our students can jump in. Even ecologists, you can work in shipping companies. Even in cruise ships, you can work as ecologists. Potential is there, right? And again, extract seawater, fresh water from seawater. This again is happening now, becoming cheaper now, right? And again, extracting energy, tidal energy, right? Wind energy from sea. These are becoming becoming popular and becoming cheaper, and the technologies become bit available now, right? Ocean current energy, ocean wave energy, offshore wind energy, tidal energy. OTEC energy means ocean thermal energy conversion. So because of the ocean surface temperature and bottom temperature difference, we can from that we can use energy. We can use convert that into heat and energy. So again, this is Europe. In Europe, energy need in EU electricity sector 1.38 billion annually. From this one, 270 million tons of coming from ocean energy. And anyway, so Europe, they are far ahead of us. We are very less far behind this energy sector, going to renewable energies. Then shipping sector, look at this. 85% of shipping transports, around 85% of goods are transported by ships. In again, ship transportation counts for about 2.5 trillion again, right? In the global energy, global economy is huge contribution again. It's again growing, right? So we have a big potential good to have harbors, not only harbors, but we have to manage them well. At the same time, we have to have infrastructure around it, right? Look at this connectivity. I mentioned about the location of the country. Most connected countries can expect to increase their GDP growth from up to 40% more than least connected countries, right? Therefore, you can see here the potential there. The issue is that, are we really using this connectivity, our situation, our connectivity advantages properly is the question. Then I move to tourism sector. Tourism sector provides 9% for GDP. One job from 11 job, 1 out of 11 jobs are tourism. Still, you can see the tourism is still increasing very fast, like other trades. So the potential is there for Sri Lanka, but there are lots of new options for us. For example, deep water tourism, right? Nobody has thought about that. But look at this new, because now we are doing space tourism. So why can't we go for deep water tourism? NERC, this is a latest prototype submarine, right? It's a Nagi luxury submarine. So this is inside the real submarine, right? It can even go to watch even Titanic underwater, observe Titanic from that. But look at the price, but for one trip, you have to pay about 105,000, more than $100,000, right, for one trip. So those are the new areas in tourism. So we can grab on, we can explore new yachting tourism, right, more luxury cruise tourism without focusing on hippie or backpackers. The potential, right? And again, the jobs available: resort representatives, hotel catering, sports and tour guides, ski, snowboard, whatever, new potentials. The industry has a very big future, and we are located for them. We are ranked #1 in most of the tour ranking guides. So the potential is there, right? Again, in the whole sector, about 200 million jobs are there, right? Unfortunately, now we are importing even welders from India, right? I heard that yesterday in discussion in Sri Lanka Colombo port. They are importing welders from India, right? So what are we doing? Where are we, heading while putting all our youngsters on three-wheelers and block them there? We import all the dollar earning, labor from other countries. Then another aspect, whale watching. Right? This is whale watching in Sri Lanka. So, from my understanding, I always classify that as a whale chasing. But still, there's a potential to develop that. But this is the whale watching areas. But look at this. This is Dondrahead. This is Mirisa. These are whales, whale observed place. But they are living on one of the largest shipping lane. That is why we get lots of whale stranding or whale, strikes by ships. But the solution for this is not to push the fishing line further down, because as a country now, I showed you, we have a big plans to develop our shipping sector, right? We have new ports coming, right? New, lots of crew exchange, training facility are there, right? But still, we have a solution for that. We can impose some speed restrictions. We can do some whale repellents there, small sounds, or we can install whale observers on board these ships, especially in this area, right? But if we push this shipping line further down, means we will lose huge amount of economic prospectus for the country. Therefore, yes, we have to protect whales. At the same time, we have to protect and feed our population, our people. Right? We have to make a balance. Therefore, we have, without pushing this down, we have to come some sort of counterbalancing the solutions. That's what I'm saying. These are the issues. Will death because of ship accidents. And in fisheries sector, this is a situation. 31% of fish are overfished, and 58% of fish are fished to capacity. Still, some 11% of fish are there underfished. But the issue is that IUU, extreme fishing methods, right? Extreme fishing pressure, that will definitely convert our fishing resources into zero in very short time. Not only fish, we killed even dolphins, the protected animals, and even turtles. I mean, this animal, the well-known case from red snapper diving, red lobster diving club in Unamatuna, right? This sort of gigantic, very charismatic animals kill for flesh, and this is a very good ecotourism attractions. And even whales, killers, orcas, and they are caught by through beach scene fishing, right? And dynamiting, before and after dynamiting, the damage, right? And again, dynamiting shipwrecks. This is British Sergeant ship in Kayankani. This is before after situation, right? So are we really looking into our resources in proper manner? Are we really using them in proper manner? The problem, the pollution, this is our beaches, right? This is Vellavat. But now I move to this sort of pollution from MS Daniela, the big and one of the largest shipping container ship, got caught, got fire off Colombo. It's a big chemical pollution. A new diamond case, right? Not only chemical. Look at this, the air pollution level and oil pollution from new diamond. And again, express pearl issue, right? The latest topic came to the system is ALDFG. I think you might have heard about this. I know, but for sure, lots of you might not have heard about that. What is ALDFG? This is abandoned, lost, discarded fishing gears, right? Another big problem we have to settle in the ocean, right? Ghost fishing, and they kill all the living animals, right? Without any control or any system, right? ADLGFG. So this is the new FG. It's a new topic I really wanted to tell that. And look at this. This is a plankton surface, right? It's a plankton. So one of my friend from University of Peradeni, and with a collaboration of University of Gothenburg, Sweden, they have found that this diatoms, this structure has a very efficient light directing method, technology method into the diatom for high efficiency photosynthesis. Now our people, Sri Lankans, they have found this out, and they are going to implement this same system onto our solar panel, expecting to grab more solar energy. Right, it's a patented one from Sri Lanka. Right, new new horizon for research, and this is Physalia, right, the Portuguese man of war. And the damage, if you touch them, just little touch is enough to disintegrate your skin, right? And look at the damage, just mere touch. But my point is that the chemical they are releasing, right, is very good for heart diseases, right? Arthritis is a new potential chemical for new drugs for the pharmaceutical industries. And some scorpion fish, porcupine fish, right? Stone fish living underwater. But look at their dorsal fins. If you push like this, they emit those chemicals, very toxic. And even lionfish, these chemicals are very good, sources for potential drugs in the future. Are we prepared to explore this? But other countries, they have very team to explore these research areas. And value addition, I mentioned that 800 times more value for these minerals from our waters, manganese nodules. And a very simple method like this, from using this coconut husk and coconut peats and coconut fiber, come up with oil absorbing materials, because we pay a huge amount of money to import this oil absorbing material, right? We can do this through at least agencies like Slintech, right? Therefore, we have a huge potential there. We have resources there. The way we are using it is that we are always neglecting their future, the reusability, right? Therefore, we are always putting some sort of blind eye, because we don't know about these resources. Existing resources is not known for us. Even if we have resources, we don't know how to use it. We don't have plans. We don't have future plans for us, right? We are developing infrastructure, but without systematic way we are doing it. But even if we develop that, we try to sell them to other countries for very low, price tags, with huge amount of, corruption and issues are there. Therefore, it's true that, from my understanding, we are sitting on a treasure. We are sitting on a dollar pile, but we always having a blind eye. Therefore, we are always losing as a country, as a nation. We are losing. Thank you, Sampath and the team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Terney, shall we, share the, thanks. Thank you very much. And we are really grateful that what Terney showed us, actually. I mean, we've been taught ever since our childhood education that, Sri Lanka as an island, like an ocean, bound, tiny speck in the planet. But you very nicely showed that it is not. We are much larger than who we are. Terney, I mean, there's always hope. You showed that it's always hope. We see hope in you. We see hope in what you showed. Anyway, thank you so much for that. And with that, let's open the floor for questions. Yeah, we can take few questions. Yeah, it's 1:30, but I think it would be disrespect for Terney to not to have questions. I'm pretty sure there are lots of questions. The floor is open for questions.
May I go first? Sorry.
Yeah, madam. Yes, madam.
Yes. Thank you so much, Terney, for that very, what can I say? It was an eye-opener for most of us, definitely for me. And it was a fantastic experience listening to you. My question is, and I would like to wish you all the best in the good work that you're doing. And I hope more and more research outputs will come, through your experience. My question, actually, it's not a question, it's a comment. I totally agree with you that the seas surrounding us are totally untapped by Sri Lankans. And when you consider especially marine biotechnology, I think we are just sitting on a gold mine, right? And I don't know how one needs to start that off. But I mean, like all the organisms that are there can be, used for bioprospecting. And so I know Madam Ruchira is there. Madam, would you like to comment? I mean, I really think the younger generation.
Yes, I will talk after you because I think I also learned a lot today from Terney. Although I'm the person who taught him oceanography at the beginning, it was only a little bit I taught. So I am happy, I'm proud that he has really gone a long way. So I can be proud of what has really happened. So I think we can do a lot, Terney. I think we should think of exploiting our biota in a more economical manner. I think we don't know anything. And I think we can join IORA and do something because actually we can't, certain things we can't do alone. I think we have to get together with other countries, but at the same time, I just wanted to ask one question. Now we have given parts of our coastal belt to these foreigners, now India, China. So do you think that we are really, there is security for our resources by giving this kind of places to other people from other countries? Do you think that we can secure our resources while doing this? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, yes. As an island nation, and as island nation, and again in this global scenario, we cannot work alone. We should always have collaborations and links and those international support. But the way we go into those collaborations is the question. When we develop MOUs and agreements and trade agreements, our people should be very strategic. Because they come with lots of incentives or whatever, but they are not coming to support you always. But they also have their own hidden agendas, right? With our technological achievements we are having, it's not enough to take the maximum benefit from our resources. But when we go for collaborations, even us scientists, we have to be mindful, about what we are sharing, how we do it, what sort of data sharing, information sharing, because they take our information and they publish it. They do much bigger things than that. That really put us in a real insecure situation, right? Therefore, all the country who are willing to go for those sort of situations, sharing information or collaborations, should be mindful. And when it comes to MOUs or any legal documents, everything should be very clearly spelled clearly, right? And at the same time, we have to follow it up, how they do, what we do, and which way they use our resources, right? That's one thing. Second thing is, if I had what Professor Udugama mentioned, as Sri Lankans and as academic, what we always try to publish single authored papers, right? And we corner and we always try to confide into our own silos, right? That is why I really encourage and like to see the beauty of publishing interdisciplinary cross-cutting papers. I am not a chemistry expert, right? But Sampath is again not deep into chemistry, right? But if he can take on board all the peoples, I can put from my side, right? Biodiversity. Sampath can put in some, migration. Professor Kumara, Professor Preeti, we can put everything and we can take the maximum out of that, right? Therefore, we have to always teach our youngsters, about these collaborations and sharing information, and you come up with multi-authored, multidisciplinary papers. That's the way out. But still, we are always promoting, and I have 10 single authored papers. I feel laugh. I feel because I feel embarrassed, because I can understand that person is going to be, strict into one single box. This is the world where think out of that and do share information, contacts, and do something more. To get better achievement from what the data we are having somewhere. So therefore, if I add what Professor Uduga mentioned, we should always encourage people to do multidisciplinary, cross-cutting research, and that will yield and that will fill the gap what she just mentioned.
Thanks, Terney. Terney, one small question from me. So you mentioned about this proposals to get those Ceylon what call it plain, and then the drainage, the area which would further increase our sea area. So is that just an idea, or is it actually a proposal that been submitted? What is the status there, Terney?
Some of the documents I showed you are real documents, real scientific information, and even the map is from them. That's called DECOM project, delimitation of continental margin. DECOM project, pioneered by Minister of Environment, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and University of Japura is there. Professor Kumara is also giving some inputs that our students are working on that, and we have already submitted our claim. It's being heard at UN now. Our people, they go to New York maybe 3 or 4 times a year to discuss and argue. In that case, scientists are there, oceanographers are there, physical ocean modelers are there, and even some maritime lawyers are there. Right? It's a very scientific.
If you want to get some more information, you can get Professor Tantriguru to talk in a seminar like this, because Professor Tantriguru is the person who's really leading our team, I think, from Sri Lanka. So he can give you a lot of information about that, because it is under discussion. Because now from India, they have these large rivers which are releasing a lot of sediments into the Indian Ocean. They claim that most of these sediments belong to their rivers. Okay, so that's the problem. Now we don't have major rivers, so we are not releasing a lot of sediments into the Indian Ocean. Now when we claim it's coming, most of the sediments are coming from from Bangladesh and India, because they have the large rivers. That is why Indians are waiting to claim, because I think they can identify the sediments through using this, what you call the radioactivity. Actually, they can use it. And then they will claim the sediments are their property. That is the problem. Yeah.
Thanks, madam. Terney, Dr. Kalpani Marsing has the question. Kalpani?
Shall I raise the question on behalf of Dr. Kalpani?
Yes, Maheshi.
Yeah, so she's asking, as we are in a huge financial crisis, from your point of view, can you please point out a few of the fastest solutions we can jump into or make from the vast array of marine resources that we have in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, first thing, Maheshi, I will ask, we are in marine resources are natural resources, right? First thing that if you mingle with natural resources without any plan, if you go very fixed solutions, you will devastate the existing system completely, right? Therefore, when you touch upon marine resources or natural resources, you should be methodical. You should take the time, your own time, right? You should give the environment or resources their own time. And slowly we should enter into that. If you try to grab up everything within very short time, think about our crisis, that will, mesh up everything again, right? That will never work. But still, what we can do something. Tourism sector. We can have better tourism plans, right? Better service, high-end tourism, right? Better marketing facilities, right? Better options for tourists. Then from the existing tourism, we can earn a lot. Value addition. We can at least start training our people, right? Start investing on the research item, research equipments, right? Those machineries. Because to get maximum benefit from blue economy, it's a 10-year process, 10-year extensive investment. After 10 years time, you are starting, you are start getting benefits back. Therefore, yes, there are some areas we can take some fixed solutions, but when we dealing with when we are dealing with the environment and natural resources, I always request that we respect the environment, then go with systems that will not trash or squeeze the environment or resources, but go for a very methodical, slow phase that will benefit us at the same time that will benefit the environment also.
Another question, sir. I think I didn't because she's asking two questions.
Go ahead, Maiji.
Yeah, so the second one is by looking at the marine resources we have, what are the key research or study areas students should focus on to become experts in the field of marine sciences and technology? And she's telling that this is for our undergraduates.
Yeah, students can find some research topics, those discarded fishing gears, for example, is a very new microplastic came recently. But they cannot become expert overnight, right? It should come with experience. I can I can collect 100 degrees overnight, but that will never tell that I am an expert. It comes with the time and it comes with the experience, right? Understanding that what sort of research available, as I mentioned, biotechnology, biochemistry, right? Fish resource management, fish resource, maybe increase of this fish resources through artificial breeding, right? And maybe understanding the climatology, ocean currents, ocean dynamics. Huge gaps are there. Baseline data, right? Those gaps are there, right? Therefore, still, if you look into the arena, you will understand number of topics, but doing those research within very short time does not make that person an expert. But with the time, more into the field, that person who the researcher will come to the surface as an expert. To become an expert, the person should have enough experience from the field.
Professor Ruchira has Professor Ruchira raised her hand. I think she wanted to add. Madam, over to you.
Yeah, there are certain things they can do by using their knowledge in biotechnology. Now we have to identify the fish migratory circuits. And also we have to find the larvae which are coming for spawning to our coastal waters. And we don't know where the larvae is found. We don't know where they are breeding grounds, feeding grounds. We have not identified those. But by taking these samples from fish, maybe from the fish catch, or maybe if they can go to the sea and catch their own fish and study their what you call the DNA, or actually their what you call the genetic structure, then we can identify where these fish are going. We can identify their migratory circuits. That's a very big problem in the Indian Ocean. Actually, when we go for the tuna conference, they say that they don't have information about tuna migration within the Indian Ocean, because we don't have money to do that. So actually, but we can get samples from fishermen and study their genetic code and see whether we are catching the fish from the same stock. Actually, we can identify different stocks of fish, and we can identify different times of their availability. Actually, that is very important. Now, we know nothing. Actually, when we compare to the knowledge we have about the biodiversity, we only know very little, very little. We have to study a lot. So I think we should get together and try to get the facilities to explore our ocean, because we don't know nothing about the biodiversity. People talk about now they say there are invasive species. Okay. Invasive species to another country may not be an invasive species to our country. Just because we find a new specimen, we can't say that it's an invasive species. Maybe because we have not yet identified them properly. Okay, so we have to do some work with respect to the marine biodiversity. There's a lot to be done. So I think these students who can work from the coast, actually, they don't have to go to the deep sea. They can start studying the biodiversity. Actually, that's a very important area to identify the species available in those areas. That is very important. We know the fish, we know crustaceans, we know the certain mollusks, but there are so many other species, other phyla. We have not identified them properly. So we have to identify, because they are a part of the very important the food webs and food chains. Now for this MBX plus pearl, we don't know how these pollutants will get accumulated in fish, because the higher predators are at the top. So for them, the pollutants can accumulate along the food chains. So we have to identify those things. This is very important. So I think they can do some studies with respect to those things. The undergraduate projects can be designed to help this kind of actually to get some information, to help to get this kind of information. Okay.
Thanks, madam. Thanks, madam. One small thing, Terney, I always think that when people talk about solar panels and wind farms, why we can't have a floating like island of solar panels, a flotilla of solar panels offshore, and then we can have like square kilometers of solar panels floating on the ocean, and electricity would be cabled back to land. If you have such a big ocean, why not? And under these solar panels there will be fish growing, and there will be spawning and all. So anyway, so this I think that's at least all these dire negative stories. I think the ocean is the positive note for us to recover, right? And our location, I guess. I think.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. Yes. You can't wind up, sir, because since this is very interesting, like people, there are a lot of questions. So is it okay if I raise the question from Himali? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's asking what is she's actually she's telling, thank you, Professor Terney, for such an eye-opening talk, and I really learned a lot, and there's a lot to think about. So the question she's asking is, what is the potential for Sri Lanka to use ocean heat to extract energy? Is it currently being done? Would the rise in sea temperature due to climate change actually aid in this?
Yeah, regarding ocean heat extraction, we are not have started yet in Sri Lanka, but countries like Norway and Nordic countries, they are doing that, but those are still in research base, and most of them are prototypes, right? But the potential is there as a potential energy source. That one is also there. But regarding the temperature rise and the climate change, actually aid this, yeah, because of the climate change, the temperature difference from surface to bottom will be a bit increase. So that will increase the efficiency of the energy extraction. But while it is happening, temperature increase in the ocean definitely will negatively impact on the ocean resources and others. But just that ocean surface temperature increase will definitely give some boost to the thermal extraction from the ocean. At the same time, more you add energy to the ocean means more you add energy to the atmosphere. More you trigger evaporation. More you trigger evaporation means highly powered aerosols or water vapors are in our atmosphere. Then how it is released is, it releases those energy through cyclones, tornadoes, right? and Willy Willy's we used in the name, but that is how it's released. It means we get cyclones, tornadoes, rain, downburst means it's not raining. The earth is hit by water, downburst. Please read about downburst. Flash floods, flash rains, floods, right? That is how that energy is heated, energy is released. Therefore, we will get lots of repercussions with that. Keep in mind that, because that is how we get, that is why we get more frequent floods and cyclones, because we release more energy to the atmosphere. Then that is how this is the way atmosphere get rid of that energy.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So it's not a very straightforward thing, but yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But because since that is not being done yet, right? In Sri Lanka, for sure, we don't have any thermal extraction.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much, Professor Terney, for that very excellent and informative presentation. I think you all will agree that with me that we gathered ocean of new and updated information about what is happening in our surroundings, especially the Indian Ocean. So I also like to thank Professor Sampath Senaviratne for inviting and introducing such an eminent personality to this seminar session, which I think will be extremely important to our postgraduate, undergraduate students, and also all the academics. And again, as always, I'd like to thank the audience who are always like interactive and engaging with this kind of sessions. Even in the previous seminars also, like we have a very interactive audience. Thank you very much. And finally, thanks again, Professor Terney, for accepting our invitation and for sharing your knowledge and the wisdom in oceanography and all these related issues. And we highly appreciate your efforts, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Himali. It's a pleasure.